We have a budget of approximately $7,300, and that's only a portion of the larger budget that the national organization provides. They provide up to $18,000, approximately $18,000 for this day. We have already received. We've petitioned other organizations too for money. We've received about $3,500 at this point. And our partnership, well, the Center for Youth Ministry Studies has also contributed. And so this money will go into our general budget to pay for speakers, transportation, housing, food, and other expenses.
Can somebody recognize you, please? Dan?
I'd like to recognize.
Yes.
They're kind of two separate budgets, just to piggyback off what Jim was saying. The national organization pays for our national speakers that are flown in, all the marketing as far as brochures and things that go out. They blanket the region of the country, so we'll have people from Chicago, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan. We have a group coming from St. Louis. And so then the city's expenses are things like table rental, chairs, all these things, because it far exceeds the capacity that North Park has. So we have to rent tables and chairs beyond what we have. Another part of the mission of Urban Youth Worker Institute is to keep this affordable. So the cost of the day is not even close to what it costs per person to make it happen. So all of the food, those types of things, anything that you physically see when you walk in, plus paying for the speakers to actually present, is what comes out of our budget. So that's what this $1,000 would be going toward.
Our ticket price is quite low.
It's $15.
$15.
John?
How many North Park students do you plan on attending?
You can speak. Okay. We generally have anywhere from 40 to 50 who volunteer, and then there are several more who come just as registered participants. Students can attend for free by volunteering, and usually we just have them help out with a couple of hours, and then they can participate the rest of the day. Adrian has been one of our faithful volunteers in years past. But then another thing too is a lot of our urban outreach sites through University Ministries participate, so they may pay for their volunteers to come that day too. So it's kind of hard to have a real good grip, but I would guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 100, including seminary and graduate nonprofit business students.
I have a question. Have you guys approached Student Association for money in the past for this event? Yeah, have you? No? Okay, I didn't think so. Is there a specific reason that you need money from us this year?
Yeah. Urban Youth Worker Institute, another part of their mission is to continue to have this happening in other cities. So they're up to 21 cities right now, and what they are hoping to do is eventually be able to relieve their financial burden with veteran cities and be able to help new cities start. So this year we've had to pick up additional costs that we haven't had to in the past. So in the past, our expenses have been anywhere from like $2,000 to $3,000. We also used to not have to pick up the bill for the meals as well. So it's just kind of increased, and so we're having to seek for outside funds outside of our team this year.
John?
What are you doing to advertise for this event?
There are, you mean specifically to students or in general?
Just brief, like an overall.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Urban Youth Worker Institute sends out email blasts, and they also mail out 2 different brochures. We work with a team, so it's not just our office hosting it. We work with a team from around Chicago, about 7 to 10 different ministries. They all have different networks too, so we work through the Urban Youth Network, a couple of other networks in the area. We send out email blasts, flyers, go up around, radio. Some of the people we work with have radio shows. Moody Bible Institute's also on the team we work with. So this is really more of a grassroots thing, and word just spreads and spreads and spreads. So that's more of how it gets passed around.
Jeff?
So if I gather, this sounds like a career fair of sorts for youth ministry students. Is that right?
Well, it provides, we provide workshops on different issues and aspects of youth ministry. And so the speakers the speakers come from a broad range of ministries. So they're providing support and workshops. We have main stage speakers, we have worship time as well. it's a broad range of, I mean, we have a whole list of, I could mention some of them if you'd like.
Kind of crosses over not just youth ministry, but youth workers. So social work, nonprofit business. That's where a lot of our crossover students come from, is the School of Nonprofit Business, the seminary, social work, education. We'll get school teachers there. It runs the gamut. So it's more youth workers, the better term to use. And it's a training day for youth workers.
Tyler?
I just want to raise an issue for the Senate to consider at this point. I think when the Senate considers to distribute funds, we also have to take into consideration the direct application to the student body, because we are taking student monies. And with this, this is not a reflection on the mission or the goal of Reload at all. But I think we definitely do have to consider whether this money will directly enhance the life of students at North Park as we consider this legislation.
I think it will directly affect the students here at North Park. Like we mentioned Saturday in our training, two of our missions that Hannah and myself came up with was building relationships. And since the Center for Youth Ministry Studies, this is their first time asking the Center for money. That's one avenue, and the other is leadership training. I myself am a youth ministry major, and I support this not just because I'm a youth ministry major, but also because it's the main goal of this conference or workshop event is dealing with multicultural and urban ministries, pretty much, which it's a different voice that we hear that's outside of our classrooms. So someone like myself who's a youth ministry major, or like the psychology majors or educational majors as well, it affects them as well. They referred that over somewhat like 100 students of North Park will be attending this event. So I think that's a good number of students that shows interest in this event that you guys should probably support. So.
Yes?
So we do attend the Christian University, and youth ministry is going to definitely be a focal point for many of the incoming students. And to hear about something like this, I think would be a positive way to get more prospective students interested in the youth ministries program.
And with your job in admissions, you have that unique perspective.
I was just going to ask if our guests could possibly give some of the workshop titles so that some of the students would gain a better understanding of how this is going to directly benefit the students that attend.
Our main stage speaker will be Harvey Carey from Citadel of Faith Church in Detroit. One workshop will be taught by Dr. Simchan Ra from North Park Seminary, and he'll be teaching on working with immigrant youth. Another workshop will be taught by team speakers, including Cynthia Stewart. That title is "There Goes the Neighborhood: Gentrification and Displacement in Chicagoland." Another one is "Sharing the Faith in a Faithless World." Another one is "Rebuilding a Fatherless Generation." Real steps to dealing with gang issues in your community. A team leadership track is also provided. And I don't know if that's enough there.
Kara?
Yeah, I was just going to say that not only are we recognized as a Christian university, but I think it also, like, the networking that seems available at this conference is also applicable to like the greater Chicago area. The conferences talk about things like gentrification and gang violence, and I think that's something that is very applicable to North Park students in recognizing that we are urban and we are in Chicago. And I just think it would be beneficial, to allocate this money to help, pay for the cost. But it is beneficial to not only youth min majors, not only social workers, but everyone in general.